Welcome to the First Careers podcast from the King's College London Graduate School. I'm Michael Flavin, and with me is Terry Jones, Careers Officer with responsibility for postgraduate students at King's. In this podcast, we'll be looking at why postgraduate research students should be getting careers advice, what kind of help is available, an example of someone who successfully gained careers advice at King's, and also considering the point in a researcher's research that they should be seeking out careers advice. So Terry, why should any postgraduate research student bother getting careers advice? Surely they're going to get their PhD and then the academic post that they want.
Well, it's actually only a minority of PhD students who will go directly onto an academic post. It varies in different schools, actually, but on the whole, the numbers of people who are doing PhDs exceed by some margin the opportunities in academic research or indeed even commercial research. There are issues about not only how you get your first job, but then how you proceed through your career. But of course, for many PhD students, they decide during the course of their PhD that they don't wish to continue in research. They want to look at other possibilities. And so, and of course, it's quite difficult to know what other possibilities are out there. So one of the things that a careers advisor like me does is review with them other possibilities that they could take the skills that they've developed during their research degree.
So accepting then that it's valuable for a postgraduate researcher to get careers advice, what kind of advice is available here at King's?
Well, I would say the advice falls into two main categories. The first one isn't really advice at all. It's something that we call employability. And that's putting on a range of activities which will develop the skill set of research students. And if a student emerges at the end of their program with the kind of skills that we think they should have, then the whole issue of choosing and transferring onto their career path would be much, much easier. But as I indicated in an earlier question, the way forward isn't all that clear. And sometimes students want to review various possibilities when they're not sure. They think they might want to do a postdoc, but they're not sure, or they would like to do a postdoc, but there is no money in the lab in which they're currently doing it, and therefore they're having to think about other labs and possibly even other diseases or other scientific areas. So lots of questions for a student as they make choices and launch out after their PhD.
So can you give us an example then of a postgraduate researcher who had their career path enhanced by seeking out your advice?
Well, I can think of one off the top of my head, and it'll show you how advice maybe isn't necessarily the best description. Because this individual was had done a PhD here, had started a postdoc, but the prospects within the lab were not great, and she was beginning to feel that she needed to change direction anyway. And initially she thought of industry, but she actually lighted upon a very interesting job with a regulatory authority. And I worked with her on preparing her application form for the very specific requirements in terms of competencies of this particular organisation. So we had a number of conversations about that, and indeed ran a mock interview as well, and hey presto, she did get that job. And she might have got it anyway, of course, but certainly I was able to support that process of moving away from academic research.
Lovely. So finally, Terry, when should postgraduate research students be seeking out your advice? At what stage in their research?
All students will come to a point where they recognise that the PhD is going to be over soon and they need to decide what to do next. Quite a lot of students will come and see me only when that recognition dawns. And there is some sense in that you perceive a need and you are very, very motivated to discuss and explore what further options there are. I think it might be better if more people thought earlier about what they do afterwards, because that might govern the way they develop themselves during their PhD. And so there is a problem about leaving it till the very, very last minute. Actually, I think it's fine to leave it quite late in the process, because you need to find out what all the options are. Often offers of postdocs come very, very late. The whole process of funding takes an enormous amount of time. And so what some students come and do is talk to me about plan B, if you like. And I think that's perhaps an important factor in career advice. I may have a strong idea of what I want to do, but just imagine if that didn't work out.
Okay, Terry Jones, thank you very much.